Albert Einstein, the lone traveler who changed the world and captured the universe. Albert Einstein, a solitary traveler who single-handedly changed the world and captured the universe. The entire world acknowledges him as one of the greatest physicists of all time. Countless works, anecdotes, and articles have been written about the man. Yet, the deeper one delves into his life, the more contradictions emerge within this genius scientist. He once declared, "I am truly a lone traveler and have never belonged to my country, my home, my friends, nor even my family." A tumultuous childhood. Born on March 14, 1879, in a small village in Germany, Albert Einstein was the first child of Hermann and Pauline Einstein, middle-class Jews who made a modest living selling feather-filled bedding. From birth, little Albert worries his parents deeply due to signs of delayed intellectual development. He did not speak until the age of 3, and even then, his German pronunciation was poor. He prefers solitude, avoids playing with other children. Once, he sat motionless all day in his room, staring intently at a compass, mesmerized. This odd habit followed him through his school years. Despite Germany's strict school rules, Einstein refused to complete assignments or recite lessons as recited. He stubbornly followed his own way, often asking probing, impossible-to-answer questions. Teachers dismissed him as absent-minded, and his grades suffered. His homeroom teacher complaining, "You are a strange, solitary, clumsy boy with no discipline. You will never succeed at anything." His classmates shunned him. In early 1895, in his final year of secondary school, Einstein was transferred. Moving with his parents to Milan, Italy, he participated in preparatory school. When applying to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich, he failed the entrance exam, not only due to low scores, but also because he lacked a high school diploma. In 1896, he was forced to finish secondary school in the town of Aarau, under awkward circumstances. No family, no friends, no nationality. He had renounced his German citizenship and could not yet obtain Swiss citizenship until the age of 21. He was invisible to the world, just a frail, peculiar young man. The year that changed everything. In 1905, Einstein published a paper in Annalen der Physik that became the foundation of the special theory of relativity. At first, no one paid attention to the work of an unknown patent clerk in Bern, Switzerland. His ideas were too new, too bold, too complex for most to grasp. It wasn't until a mathematics teacher in Krakow, Poland, read it and promoted the famous German physicist Max Planck to examine it, saying, "For the sake of science, please study this carefully." This idea could rival the revolution of Nicholas Copernicus. Even with some support, most scientists dismiss his theory as absurd. Understandably so. Physics, then, was built upon the towering legacy of Isaac Newton, whose principles stated that space and time were absolute, eternal, and divinely ordained. And now, here was a mere patent clerk daring to challenge God's will. Einstein argued that as an object's speed increases, time slows down, and at the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers, time nearly stops. Newton claimed space and time would persist even if matter disappeared. Einstein countered that without matter, space and time would vanish as well. Even today, some still doubt this. At the time, it was revolutionary and heretical. His theory shook the scientific world. He was accused not only of unscientific thinking, but of blasphemy. Einstein, standing alone, defending firmly believes. For years, his theory was met with more rejection than acceptance. Although his contributions in other areas were acknowledged, in 1921, the Nobel Committee awarded him the prize only for his discovery of the photoelectric effect, leaving relativity aside for now. The activist for peace, Einstein was also a tireless advocate for peace. Hitler once placed a bounty of 20,000 marks on his head. Yet Einstein opposed war not out of personal hatred, but out of moral conviction against tyranny and oppression. In 1939, as World War II loomed, he learned Hitler was racing to develop an atomic bomb. Einstein urges U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt to approve a research project for such a weapon. While the Nazis failed, the U.S. succeeded, testing the first atomic bomb on Bikini Atoll. As the Axis powers collapsed, Einstein and other scientists petitioned the U.S. government to halt plans to use the bomb. But President Harry Truman ordered the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, killing over 200,000 civilians. Upon hearing the news, Einstein was devastated. "You cursed the atomic bomb?" Alas, it was I who pressed the button. He carried this guilt into the solitude of his final years. Love and the theory of relativity. In 1896, Einstein met Mileva Maric, a fellow student at the University of Zurich. In 1902, she gave birth to their daughter Liesel, whose fate remains unknown. Records of her disappeared after birth. The couple married in 1903 and had two sons, Hans Albert, 1904, and Eduard, 1910. Around 1912, Einstein began a relationship with his cousin Elsa Löwenthal. In 1916, he requested a divorce from Mileva, finalized in 1919. With an unusual term, she will receive his future Nobel Prize money. Soon after, he married Elsa, who stood by him through his career's peak and his illnesses, traveling the world together. Yet, like his theory, his love life had no absolute. Einstein was faithful only to one thing: physics. Final years. In 1933, he settled in Princeton, USA, where he lived for 22 years. On April 17, 1955, he suffered internal bleeding from an aortic aneurysm. Refusing surgery, he said, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it gracefully." He died the next morning at the age of 76, still working until his last breath. His body was cremated, ashes scattered around Princeton. The world lost its greatest scientist. Humanity lost one of its kindest souls. Yet, as he once said, "We die, but the creative work of our lives will remain forever." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Subscribe now and ring the bell, because more fascinating stories are on the way.